Hello everyone, it's Shane Conto, your Wasteland reviewer, and this review is going to be a little bit different because I'm going to be taking a look at two different films that are one and two in a series, and this is also still part of my top 10 favorite films of all time. So I got through my top 5, now I'm getting to number 6, which is kind of always a toss-up between the original Shrek and Shrek 2. Because honestly, Shrek 2 I feel like is one of the best made sequels where it takes what the first one did so well and escalates it and elevates it and adds to it in such a way that it just builds off of it and improves upon that. And that's what you want out of a sequel. Now, I remember seeing the first Shrek when I was just 10 years old in theaters and loving it and thinking it was hilarious. And it's one of those movies that I've appreciated more and more as I grew older because I started getting all the jokes and really getting what they're trying to deconstruct and why this is such a great satire on the fairy tale genre and looking at those classic Disney films and really turning them on their head and poking fun at them, but also hitting all the fantastic points of those films and the themes and really building on them and in such an inspired way. And Andrew Adamson was the one who directed these two films along with others, but he was the main one who took the reins of this. So the first Shrek, what I really love about the first Shrek is it's so funny. I can quote the whole entire thing up and down, start to finish. There's so much fun characters in this film. Shrek is so obnoxious but lovable in some way, and you actually feel for him, and he has depth and layers to his character like an onion. And then you have Donkey, who could just be that annoying sidekick, which they poke fun at that idea of, but honestly builds up Shrek and is there for him and is really a true companion. And then you have Fiona, who is a lot more to her than you would expect, and Lord Farquaad, a little jerk. And all the jokes about him overcompensating makes me laugh so hard now because honestly, as a kid, it's just, oh, because he's short. But that's not what it's really talking about. But the characters are so much fun. It's a fun fairy tale story, but the dialogue and the humor is so on point in the first two films. I'm really disappointed by the third Shrek the Third, and Shrek Forever After is like, it's better than the third one. The third one lacked any magic. These films have a lot of magic and a manic energy to them that just keeps them going and really gets you invested in these films. And they really do hit on those themes of finding yourself, being who you want to be, and accepting you for who you are. And not letting anybody try to tell you that, what you should be or how you are, or those, honestly, a lot of bigotry and judgment and just discrimination. All these things layered into a goofy, obnoxious animated movie, but it's done in such an amazing way. And that's why I thought Shrek really earned that first ever Oscar for Best Animated Feature. And it's been DreamWorks' crowning achievement for this whole entire time since. And the music by Harry Gregson Williams is such a great score to a fairy tale, and then put into this film, and with such inspired choice of songs to add in for the soundtrack, just really fleshes this out. And even the little musical numbers with Eddie Murphy popping up, and a nice segue into the second one, which builds off of, there's so many great sequences. I love the opening montage of their Shrek and Fiona's honeymoon in the second one, to Accidentally in Love and spoofing all those big movie scenes and famous sequences. And the music is still really inspired, and Gregson Williams' score is also fantastic again. The music choices are so inspired. Livin' La Vida Loca with Eddie Murphy and Antonio Banderas. Puss in Boots is such a fantastic addition to Shrek 2. And honestly, they even took the villain escalated too, because Fairy Godmother's such a fun, interesting villain, and her singing I Need a Hero is so fantastic, that whole sequence. and with Mongo the Giant Gingerbread Man, and all the quips, all the cultural references that hit really hard and are just such inspired writing with all these jokes and balancing everything. And the vocal performances are fantastic. They're iconic. Mike Myers and Eddie Murphy might not be doing much now, but you're always going to remember those voices as Shrek and Donkey, along with all the other great work that they did. But Shrek is such a big franchise, and these are such fun films that actually are very meaningful and hit on very deep levels in terms of themes of accepting yourself and trying to find somebody to love you for who you are, and not trying to settle on trying to be somebody else to be better for someone that you love, and really trying to be the best that you can of yourself, but not giving up who you are. And we can't ask for much more than that from a children's film with such deep themes and so funny and so quotable. I quote, and I love doing impressions, and I do impressions of the Gingerbread Man and Shrek and Donkey all the time from these films because they're just so memorable and they're etched in your brain so well after watching them. I don't even know how many times I've seen Shrek, to be perfectly honest. It's so many times. But I'm going to give Shrek and also Shrek 2 A pluses.